Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Alice, but in the socials you might know me as Stamper Girl. As some of you might know, I am part of Kendra's Card Challenge Inspiration Team, and this is a quarterly challenge that runs, and Kendra makes these sketches and she gives you instructions on how to cut 6x6 pieces of pattern paper, and you end up creating 15 amazing cards. Well, this is the amazing group of sponsors that we have, but today I'm specially featuring Crafting Kimi Stamps. I have known Crafty Kimi Stamps for a few years now, and as soon as I saw the stamps, I fell in love, and when I met Kimi online, I even fell in love even more with this company. They are located in Canada. The products come here super fast. Kimi is amazing. She is always willing to help. You can't get any better customer support than Kimi. Kimi is seriously amazing. If you have not given her a try and buy something from her, just go and check it out, okay? She has stamps, she has inks, she has stencils, she has everything, and her design team is flipping marvelous. They are so unique, the projects that they put out there. They do coloring lives in her private Facebook group, so please join them in Facebook and check it out. I will leave all the information in the description below. I did receive some of these stamps from Kimi as a sponsor. I think all of the ones that I'm coloring today I did receive from her at some point, but my collection is huge from her. So let's just get started. I'm going to be watercoloring. This video is sped up, but I will walk you through. I am planning to put a video that is a full length if you want to see me paint them, color them in just regular speed, and I will put that in my YouTube channel too. So I hope you join me in coloring these guys, and if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. Let's get started. So today I'm gonna be coloring here with some twinkling H2Os. Those are the ones in the top that I was adding some water. And also, so I have this tendency to start my base layers with whatever is in my palettes. So this green was in my palette. It just activated it with some water. I have to apologize about that glare. I still don't know. I know it was late at night when I recorded these, but it keeps flaring up like that. But hopefully most of the video is good. So I am doing a wash. A wash is when you add a lot of water to one specific color. I decided that that is going to be a green apple. And you'll see me use a lot of the greens in here because that's what I have in my palette right now. And again, I reuse all the colors that are in my palette, because if they are still in my palette, that means I like them. And you want to use colors that you love and it inspire you. So that's why I always come back to whatever is in my palette. Now I activated that brown in there, and I'm also using my twinkling H2Os, which are a watercolor that has a lot of mica in it. And again, this is my base layer, and I'm just adding a little bit of extra darkness when I think it's gonna be my shadow, and just letting it blend with the water that I have there. You see, I'm adding a little bit of shadows up in the top where the green is, and everywhere that I think I might have a shadow in there, okay? I'm bringing a little bit of water to soften down those lines when I added the brown. When you want to soften a color like that, what you want to do is first you wash your brush in water, right? You're going to dry it, and then you're going to grab clean water. You're going to bring it to it. But I first like to dab it on my hand on the back of my hand to see, because that way I can know how much water I have in my brush. I am coming with a very, again, light wash. See right there where I grabbed the extra one, so I dabbed my paintbrush to grab all the moisture that was in, and when I put it back into my image, it just sucks or it absorbs of that extra water that was there. Here again, a very light wash. I could have even gotten lighter here, but I wanted for the mouse to be a little bit darker, so that's why I this is a dark wash in my opinion, but it's a good starting point for the mouse. Mixing a little bit more of my colors, and I am going with the pink on the inside. See, very, very light coloring, and I am going to use it on the feet, on the little nose. There you go. That's one of my twinkling H2Os. I decided to go a little bit darker, and that is when I start thinking, should this have been a candied apple versus a caramel apple? Because at the beginning I was thinking this was gonna be a caramel apple. That's why I did the browns, and what you cannot see is the amount of mica and glitter that brown has for the caramel. It's just amazing. The twinkling H2Os, if you can still find them, sometimes you can get them in eBay. Get your hands on those. Those are so much fun. Bringing the yellow here for the little block of cheese that our friend here is eating, even though that now I'm thinking that may not have been cheese, that may have been a piece of the apple, but I colored it as a cheese. That explains why it has no holes. Oh my goodness. Oh well. You can make it a cheese, you can make it a piece of the apple. And here I am adding a little bit of like a very light wash, so it's kind of have that light yellow when you crunch into the apple, when you bite into the apple. I am coming with I believe a darker gray. So yeah, so I am bringing a little bit of a darker gray, but not too dark. So here it's just adding, because this is my second layer. So that first layer that we applied of the gray is cool to the touch, but not dry. So that is a very big difference. So you can do, people always talk about doing a wet on dry or a wet on wet, but there's also something as when you're coloring onto damp or cool paper. So one way to know if your paper is actually completely dry, it should not be cold or cool to the touch, okay? So again, I'm adding bits of the coloring, and I'm sorry that that glare is there. And it's just that I wanted to do this so badly, and I ended up coloring at night. So that's why the coloring. And you see here, it's pretty harsh, the difference between my first wash and this. So now I'm coming back. You see, I grab a little bit of that medium tone wash, and I'm coming back now to soften those colors out. You see how much the difference is amazing. Once you come back with a, I would say I would compare it to a medium wet brush. So it's not full of water and it's not dry either. It's like a medium wet brush, and come back. And now I'm bringing a little bit more of that red pink that I used on the nose to bring some highlights. And back to the apple, I'm touching to see how the apple is feeling. Still a little wet, so I went back to the caramel side, and I am adding layers. And here I grabbed my paintbrush, dried it, put water, put it in there, and then dried it up, and then pick up that water because I was trying to make a highlight. Because you can tell that there's a highlight now on the top of the head of the mouse. And here's where I'm coming and deciding that that I am gonna make that a block of cheese, I am bringing I believe this is my 000 brush with black, and I'm just making little circles to make it look like a block of cheese. And I think it just adds such a cute detail. So this is pretty intense. This is one of my twinkling jewels in the, I believe it's called Onyx Black. And then I'm gonna start coming back to adding some extra shadows in the areas that I know are mostly dry. See? So I'm adding dabbing, adding little bits of dots because I like the texture that the dotting brings to the image. So a few things, remember, just it's gonna take you layers. It might take you 2, 3, it might take you 4, 5, it might take you up to 7, 8 layers, but you can start applying extra shadows and extra layers as soon as that layer that you were working on is not, it's cool to the touch, but it's not wet, because that will give you more intense shadows. So you see how much darker this looks? So now I'm putting that layer of shadow, and in some places what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go rinse my brush, grab some water, dab it into my hand or my paper towel, and then come and blend it a little bit more. But in that case, I wanted a darker shadow, so it's okay to leave it there. So it's up to your likings. So for the pie, I am gonna start actually with a wet on wet. So my first image was a wet on dry. So I wetted the top of the pie where my cross is, and I am bringing now a paintbrush. This is a round, I believe this is a round 1 that I am just bringing with some watercolors. So if you want your shadow, usually I will start, so I started from the bottom because I knew that that was the area where the darkest colors are gonna be. Again, this is my wash, remember that. So this is gonna get a lot more intense. So I started from the bottom because that's where my darker colors I want it to be. And then I'm gonna move towards the top because then by that time, my brush is gonna have a lot less watercolors. And this is a light gray for mimicking the pan of my pie. Now I'm bringing back this. I am doing as a wet on dry, and you will see how I am bringing different little bits. Here I brought a little bit of a shimmery, almost pearlescent color, and that's the one that you see right there at the top of the window. And I mixed that with my regular black, and look at all that shine that you get. It really looks like almost like an aluminum pan. And now I'm adding some shadows. I want them to be heavily on the sides and a highlight on the middle. And let's see what else I'm gonna work with. I decided to add a little bit of the brown-ish, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna go for it. This is gonna be a pie that has some raspberries inside, and I am bringing the darkest pink. This is the pink that I use for the nose on the little mouse, and this is bright. But I decided that I liked it that bright. So if you notice, I did not color the entire areas. So I did come back with a paintbrush that was medium wet, and I just colored it over. This, I think I forgot to record part of it. I just added another layer of the orange. I'm just working on that cross, making sure that I am leaving highlights on the top of that cross border, and then I keep adding in my board and my bottom where my shadows will be darker. I'm making sure that that pie looked like it was had a good time in the oven. I'm sorry about the highlights. And now I'm adding a little bit of shadows in the bottom, and I'll make sure that they're deep. Because you know, when you have those pies, you have that deep border that it's always so crunchy and delicious. That's what I'm trying to recreate here. And then here I'm just blending a little bit my shadows so they're not so harsh on the pan. And here's my guy. He is ready to be colored. He is so cute. Again, so for this video, I'm gonna be, as you can see, I am using full favorites. That's what I'm coloring today, but you can tell that we are also have the cute set from Snow Fairies in this page, and you also have the Possum Holiday set. Okay, so both of my favorites. I decided that this was going to be a panda. Don't ask me where that it came from left field, but I decided that yeah, this guy was going to be a panda, and I decided that, and then I colored the eyes, the little mask that they have, and the cute little black ears, and then you'll see me color the black arms. I'm just having a blast coloring him as a panda. I think that he just needed this brightness of the white in the panda, the white and the black. If I had made him brown with so much brown and orange on the pie, we might have lost a little bit of the coming. So here I just brought some water, dab it with my paper because I had a little bit of the line boo-boo, as you could tell. And I am bringing more black in definition, and then tiny bits of the pink. And I'm adding more deepness into the pie feeling that he has all over his mouth. This set is adorable. It seriously is adorable. It has 4 pretty size images, and then it has 3 fillers and 3 sets, and it's just the most adorable and cutest thing ever. You're gonna love this set. So if you get this one again is full favorites, and if you're searching the store for this one, favorites is spelled the European way or the Canadian way with the OU. So if not, just search for full and it will show up. Now I'm gonna work on the 2 critters and the pie. Okay, so I have seen this color as a pumpkin pie most of the times, and I decided that I was not gonna make a pumpkin pie. And I'm sorry about this. I might get some comeback about this, but I do not like pumpkin pie. I see it, and it's not my thing. It is not my thing. Pies need to be sweet, so I am actually gonna color this as a key lime pie. Oh, I actually forgot that I was gonna do an extra layer of shadow for this. So my way of coloring may not be your way of coloring in terms of, I love to have big pops between, like a big gap between my shadow and my highlights. So there's a big definition between my shadows and my highlights. People sometimes like them to be more in the same area, so there's not such a dramatic shadow. I love dramatic shadows. That's my thing. I love them. I love how, in my opinion, it makes my image pop. It makes my highlights just stand out. So that is what you will see me doing here. And I have no idea where I was pointing at that point for the camera, but here I'm just blending it a little bit. That's my guy. He is so cute. I am super happy with him. Now we're gonna go into the pie. Again, key lime pie. So again, back to the green. So I am coming back with just some water into my pie area filling. And if you notice, my water is not clear. That's because I accidentally put my dirty brush into my clean water. I usually have a clean water and a dirty water. And I will survive. It's okay. I'm bringing some of the green, and this green is bright, people. It is bright. So I'm coloring, and at the same time I'm thinking maybe it should have been an pumpkin pie, but I do not give up on it. I will work multiple layers on this. I think I'm up to 4 or 5 layers when I am quite done with it. I am adding yellows. I am to my greens. I even added a tiny bit of an orange to see if that would darken it. So just playing around. Now I'm working. I love that the little critters have food all over their faces and hands. I don't know you, but that's how I eat pie. And that's how I eat a dessert. I love it. I have a sweet tooth. I'm coming back with a super, super dark brown instead of starting with a wash, which is not my usual. But I wanted to try something different. So I did a super dark on where my shadow would be. And then I brought a paintbrush that was super wet. And I spread the coloring from my shadow part to the rest to create the wash, which is a different way to set it up. But you can try it. This might be a better way for you to control your color. It kind of speeds up your coloring process, because now in this point you have both your wash and a little bit of a shadow look. Okay, working on the crust of my pie. This is like, it's supposed to be more like a cookie graham crust, but it does have the crimping of the pie, so ignore that part. I am adding a little bit of shadow up in the top, and this pie is looking delicious. It was funny because while I was coloring this, all I could think was, I want key lime pie. And I have to say, the best key lime pie, you eat it in the Florida Keys. There is a place down there that my sister-in-law brought us to, and I order my pie. She warned me to order the pie before I even started ordering the food, because the pie is so good and everyone knows it. The pie just sold out every single day. So I got there and I ordered my pie before we even order food. And the lady looked at me and she was, well, do you want the pie now or do you want to wait for the food? I was like, pie first. Always pie first. It was delicious. So worth it. The burger was delicious too, but that pie, I ended up ordering a second pie to go. It was delicious. So if you've been looking, I've been just adding more layers and layers, waiting for it to dry. So I moved from one side to the other. Now I'm bringing my 000 paintbrush again, and this is with a darker, less water in my brush, and I'm just creating texture, following the lines that the illustrator made, just to add like fussiness to the little squirrel. And I actually love it. I love when I get that texture, and it's so cute. And if you're making the texture and you don't like it, bring back that wet paintbrush, put it and dab some paper towel or dry your paintbrush and then pick up the color. So it's like an eraser. Adding a little bit of a gray shadow to my whipped cream. And now we are gonna work on that adorable bunny. Like, let's be realistic, he is so cute. And I thought, you know what? I think I'm gonna keep them white. So I'm just adding bits of gray around the bunny, just as shadows, because he is so cute, so darling. I'm gonna add some pink to the ears, and that was a lot of pink. And that's where I'm erasing. So you see me add water, put my paper towel, press it hard. There you go. Do it again because I somehow ended up with green in my brush, and this is because my water is absolutely a disaster right now. But instead of standing up and going and getting clear water, I keep coloring because I cannot stop myself from playing with these adorable guys. I'm like, seriously, they are so cute. This particular set is by Sabrina Van Vloten. I might be saying her last name incorrectly, but it is a 4x6 set, and it's adorable, adorable, adorable. And she just makes the most adorable critters. The one image that you're not seeing here is an image of a really tall drink. It has a tall mug with the squirrel and the bunny, and you can tell the bunny is kind of falling asleep because he is so full of all the stuff that they ate. I am going to be coming in with finishing touches. Here is my jelly roll number 10 on white, and I'm just adding little highlights. And I will show you an end result of what the 3 images look at the end. I do have one video that showcases this image with the mouse and the apple in following one of Kendra's card challenge sketches. And you will notice if you check out that video that magically that caramel apple turns into a candied apple. It is a red apple, and I think that was the way to go. It's super vibrant, super fun. And yes, I just colored red on top of that brown because actually when I like to add shadows to my red, that's what I'd add. It's a brown. So this whole painting that you saw today ends up being like an underpainting for my apple. And I am so happy I decided to do that. It was risky because once you put red on top of that, you can't go back. But it turned out adorable. And I will leave you also a link in my description for that video for KCC. I believe it was sketch number 6. And these guys turned out so cute. They really are. And it took me about, I would say an hour and a half total of coloring these 3 images. And I think it was just perfect. I don't think an hour and a half for 3 images is too much, but I hope you enjoy this. I hope you enjoy me coloring. If you have any questions about watercoloring, just let me know. Here are the 3 images right after I finish with the highlights. I think they turn out so cute. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for joining it. And thank you so much, Kimmy, for sponsoring KCC number 12. And remember, don't leave crafting for tomorrow. Start today.